What's up, folks? Welcome back to another one, man. I got another video for you here today. This one is a longer formatted video. I'm gonna cut it down, but it's a longer formatted video of a topic that I already covered with the whole child support and how you can get trapped into working a second job. Just so like this is like basically pointing out some more of the just how unfair it is. But let me see here. Let me get this thing rolling here. I'm gonna do a reaction to this thing. Hang on. Let's get this thing going.
So if he doesn't work a part-time job, he's not going to get by.
To just take the difference in the income and have
Opening statements.
Was that you all came to as an agreement.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on.
the only issue is that there's a disparity.
Cruelty to children.
Yes.
Nothing inherently fair. So because you work, is it your testimony before this court that it's Mr. Moore's fault that you were charged with cruelty to children?
Yes. The latest update that all matters were resolved except the issue of child support.
All right.
Where
here
are we
go.
on that?
Let's do that again. All right, here we go. Buckle in. Here's another. All right, buckle in. Okay, strap in. Put your seatbelt on. This one's a good one. All right, strap yourself in. We're getting ready to review this one real quick here. Here we go.
The latest update that all matters were resolved except the issue of child support. Where are we on that?
Well, good
Yes,
morning,
Your
Your
Honor.
Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. The parties have reached an agreement on modification. They did follow the guardian's recommendation as to the children. The only issue is that there's a disparity in income. Just to briefly, my suggestion was to just take the difference in the income and have Mr. Moore pay that. And there's a dispute about that. And I believe that Mr. Moore just quit a job that he's had for years. So that's an issue as well. But that's the only issue before the court is child support.
Okay, Mr. Campbell.
So, Judge, if it may please the court, Rick Campbell for Mr. Moore. Judge, would you like us to make opening statements?
Yeah, you can. But before we do that, I know we have the guard.
Hey, who just came up here? I told Luke that I was recording, man. He didn't tell you? All right, I'm recording. Can you just hang out downstairs for about 20 minutes? All right, you need a drink or something? Go ahead and grab that too if you need it. Are you good? Yeah. All right. Sorry about it. Let's start this thing over here.
At line up Ms. Wright here, and I know Ms. Wright's position was generally dealing with
That's right.
modification, and so I want to know, is she necessary?
No.
No,
Okay.
Judge.
Mr. Campbell?
No, Judge.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Ms. Wright. You are free to go. And you look pretty this month. You always look pretty, but your hair looks flawless, even more flawless today. How about that?
Thank you, Judge.
All
Y'all
right.
be good.
Thank
All
you.
right, bye-bye.
Yes, let's start with the openings. And you can also mention to me what the modification was that you all came to as an agreement.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right. Well, good morning, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge, this case was filed in May of 2022. It started out as a complaint for modification and child support due to the fact that the original divorce decree, which was entered in September of 2021, and I think the settlement agreement that went with that was filed. Well, that's right, Judge. The divorce was September of 2021. Involved two girls. At the time of the modification, the older child, Sine, filed an election to live with her father.
This is Wix Studio, the platform for agencies and enterprises, built to meet any brief. When your project calls for bold creativity, design, craft, custom AI map.
Skylar is 9 going on 10.
Correct.
She's the youngest. So, Judge, after the case was filed, and I believe there was a bond issued because Mrs. Moore was charged with some type of cruelty to children or charge, and Ms. Foster will correct me if I'm wrong on that. She's got some documents in her exhibit list showing the disposition of that case, but I believe for quite a while there was a bond restriction involving the older child who has been living with my client, Judge, now for almost a year. So, Judge, this case has been going on for a while, and with that,
So immediately take note at how, because I went through something very similar here as well. So I want to point that out. So the mom and the child get in an altercation where she ends up, I don't know, who's to say, abused, I don't know, but some type of altercation to where some things got physical, and it's not for me to judge, but the only reason I think this is important is to just showcase how many chances the moms get with these things, and then how all of it's irrelevant in the eyes of the law when we move forward. So it's just chance after chance after chance. And I went through something very similar, man, very similar when my kids came to live with me. Same thing. And then the only thing, when it's all said and done, the only thing they still care about is just child support. Money. You'll see as we get into this case. But let's continue.
a guardian was appointed, as you know, Miss Wright, and eventually she made a recommendation that confirmed that Sine wanted to live with her father. She's been doing that, and that Skylar would stay with the mother, and my client they would both have every other weekend visitation, to the point where both girls are in the same house on the same weekend. Mr. Moore will testify, Judge, that I don't know, due to Sine's age, I believe she sees her mother more or less regularly, but he sees Skylar every other weekend, pretty much like clockwork. Mr. Moore, Judge, works, and he did at the time of divorce. He works for the Department of Labor as a system security administrator. We'll introduce his pay stubs. He gets paid twice a month.
So I have watched this before, so I kind of know. I know exactly what's going to happen. Obviously, that's why I'm playing it. But so you can tell from looking at the all the players here. We got Dad top right, Dad's lawyer right next to him on the left of Dad. We've got, looks like, I think Mom is lower. Well, I don't know which one Mom is. Mom might be in the middle on the bottom. And then it looks like Mom's lawyer is on the far bottom left. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And then the judge obviously is on the bottom right. So, so I can tell you this is a little just to kind of tell you what's going to happen here is the judge is going to be asking a lot of questions. And as they continue on with this thing, I believe you'll have the same opinion as me, or the same thoughts as me. You'll be thinking that the judge is going to have some common sense here, and she's going to look at this situation and be like, yeah, of course. But you might be surprised. I don't know, you're not going to be surprised, but you might be a little shocked to see the judge's reaction after all of this. That's why I'm playing this video here.
And his pay is exactly the same every paycheck, twice a month. It adds up to about $6,578 roughly. A couple of cents less than that.
Give me 1 second, Mr. Kim.
Sure, Judge.
All right, go ahead.
So, Judge, his income is exactly the same every month. So it's very easy to show what his income is. That's not going to be difficult. As a matter of fact, Judge, his testimony is going to be he has no, even in the horizon, there won't even be any increases. He's already at the plateau. The only way he can ever get more money is if his
You're
manager
considering
quits,
his overtime.
and which he says is not likely to happen anytime soon. So his income is fixed.
Doesn't differentiate or
And-
Well, tell him to quit working overtime.
And Your Honor, I guess the reason why we're here is because at the time of the divorce, Mr. Moore was ordered to pay over $1,200 a month in child support and $600 a month in alimony. And his alimony is going to end, I think, in December of this year. So he has maybe 10 months more to go on alimony. And his child support was $1,200 plus a month. So, Judge, with that, making and at the time, he may not have been making as much as he's making now, but it's roughly this, let's just assume it's close. After taxes, and we'll look at his net income in a minute when we introduce evidence, but after taxes, if he's paying over almost $2,000 a month after tax dollars to pay his support and alimony, Mr. Moore did all he could do, which was get a part-time job. And so on and off over the last 5 years, he's worked as a clerk in a tobacco shop called This, That, and the Other tobacco shop, making $16 an hour. And he would work mostly during the week, get some weekday hours
Can I stop you real quick? Because I'm getting a little confused as to what the outstanding issue is. I thought the outstanding issue was determining how the court would handle the fact that one person has one child, one person has the other, and what the difference is. What difference does it make to me about the testimony of how many hours he worked a week?
Oh no, Judge, I was
Really,
showing the court why he had a part-time job, because recently he quit that part-time job. He's got his daughter. It's taken a lot of time during the week.
That's how corrupt this system is. They don't care. She's up here like, bro, I don't care about any of that. I don't care about any of that. I don't care if he works 10,000 hours a week. Give it to us. I don't care if he works this lifetime, the next lifetime, and the lifetime after that. I don't care how he makes that money. I don't care. Give it to us. Shake him down, bailiff. He's got something in his pockets. I hear some change. I hear some loose change. Get him. And it's absolutely sick because of the way they have these worksheets set up for this child support stuff. So I can go several directions with this, but I'll start with and I've made this point in another one of my videos. If you got person A and you got man A, man B, both obligated to pay child support, and we just have a set even number. They both make $50,000 a year. Okay, this is one of the reasons why I say it's unconstitutional, because in the Constitution it says that we're all created equal and we have the right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and all that jazz, man. So when you look at the child support, let's assume we got two guys, A and B, both making $50,000 a year, but guy A only works, let's just say 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, to make that $50,000. All his benefits are included in that, and he still clears the $50,000. All his health insurance, everything's in. It's just so, and then he clears $50,000. Okay. Then you got guy B over here, who also makes $50,000, except he's working 7 days a week at 12-hour days to make that $50,000. Has no benefits at that job whatsoever. So any benefits he's gonna have to pay out of pocket. Those two guys don't make the same amount of money. This is what I've been saying for years. It's not fair. It's not right to base this off of income. It shouldn't be based off of income, period. because you can't do it without discriminating against people. You're punishing people for working hard, and that's crazy. So I'm gonna let the video continue, but I just want to make my point on that real quick. So let's continue on here.
Saturdays. And Judge, we have the incomes, and apparently the testimony is going to be, I believe, Miss Moore, who works for State Farm, just got a new position offered, so we have her income. I think what the reason why we've been held up on this with different offers going back and forth is because Miss Moore, we're here today because she wants to base child support on Mr. Moore working 20 to 25 hours a week at $16 an hour overtime. And she, based on the income records I've seen for her, she sometimes gets close to 40 hours a week. So she wants to base her child support that she pays for the oldest at almost 40 hours a week. But she wants my client, Mr. Moore, to pay child support based on almost 65 hours a week. And that difference is substantial.
Okay. So I now understand. Okay, I didn't understand that there was a conflict as to what his income is. I thought that there was a conflict with regard to how the court should handle the 50-50
No, Judge.
custody, because I was thinking that is that's a formula that I use all the time. I have generally the same way of handling it. That is
Right.
I take
So,
it-
Judge, right.
See, formulas. I don't care. They don't care about nothing. They don't care about fair, right, and wrong. They just care about formulas and how much money can we get to maximize the amount of money that we can extort from this person. We don't care that he's being a good father. It never even comes up. It's not even part of the conversation. It's just how much money can we extract from this person. And you people wonder why I have such an issue with this child support system. At no point does it come up, well, maybe, the dad is spending his hard-earned money on his child just like the mother is. Never does it come up that, okay, well, if we're forcing this person to work more, then that's going to be less time that they can spend with their children. It is wrong. It's wrong. And I don't care that, women are out here talking about, well, it costs a lot to raise him. I don't want to hear that. In fact, I don't want to hear that from anybody, because I'm in a unique situation to where I have been on both sides. I've been on several sides of the child support system. As a person whose father paid it to his mother, and his mother made more money than his father. And I've watched how my mother misused that money. As a person who has lived with women who have received it and watched them fraudulently spend the food stamp money, I've seen it firsthand. As a person who has paid it and got a first-hand look at how they make it to where you can barely survive without help. And then as a person who has had my kids live with me full time. So, and I always say this, I say, when people say, well, you don't know how much it costs, I said, you're talking to the wrong person. You are the one who's not qualified to talk about this, because you've only been on one side. You've never paid child support. I've paid child support and have my kids live with me full time. So you're not going to come at me and tell me what it costs to raise a child. I've done it. And during that time, when my kids lived with me, I was able to get my credit together and save my money up to buy my first home, just from not having my money micromanaged by another household. So I am in the unique position to where I have multiple perspectives on this. I have seen this from both sides. I have been in this from both sides. I've been in this from multiple positions. So I am probably the most qualified to talk about this subject. It doesn't cost as much to raise a child as women try to make it out to be. I can tell you that right now. So let's continue on.
I'm sorry.
If they're making about the same, Anyway, so that's generally how I would handle that. But you're saying that there is an issue about how much he makes.
No, Judge, I think the issue is going to be the defense position is, Judge, when he's paying child support for me, for the youngest, Skylar, he should be paying based on an income of 65 hours a week of overtime. And I should only be paying him for Sine, the oldest, based on a full-time 40-hour-a-week job. And he just...
First of all, if they each have one kid, leave it alone. Leave it alone. I'm tired of hearing that. Like, look, first of all, stop telling people how to raise their children. This is a private, personal matter. You shouldn't even be involved in it. If they can't work it out, as long as that child is not being neglected and all their essential needs are met, you shouldn't even be involved in it in the first place. You shouldn't even be involved in the first place. Those two people made a child together. Let them figure it out. Let them figure it out. Or else choose who you have kids with better. Courts shouldn't even be involved in this. Just like they shouldn't be involved in divorce and marriage. This doesn't even concern them. These are private matters. Okay? So
left his job. So I assume they're going to argue, oh, he just left his job, but he should be held to that. And all along in this case, we can't understand on why, and I guess this is the argument, Judge. Defense wants my client to pay more child support because he's working more hours overtime, and part-time job to be able to pay the child support he's already paying.
Even with, like I said a minute ago, I remember what I was going to say too, because I had forgotten something. But so like I said, stop telling people how to raise their children. Stop discriminating against non-custodial parents. Just because they don't live with their mother anymore doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to decide how they're going to raise their child and how much money they're going to spend here or put here. Because some people don't see things, excuse me, some people don't see things the way you see them. Some people say, well, I'd rather be saving for my child's college or their first car and this, that, and the other. I don't want to put the money here and here and here. So one of the ways that they trap people into this is by saying, well, all kids have to have health care, which is another. I understand on the surface because most people are so indoctrinated in how they think that they're never able to think outside the boxes they put you in, but when you really think about this whole thing with insurance, first of all, if a parent wants to pay out of pocket for his child, that is their business. First of all. Secondly, I cannot tell you the amount of parents that I know that are not in the child support system that they have insurance sometimes. They'll tell you the way they told me. They're not going to tell a judge. But they'll tell me, dude, my kid ain't had health insurance in 2 years, whatever. But that's not a crime. But when you're a non-custodial parent, they turn it into a crime that you're not paying this child support money. See, it's not until you learn to think outside of the box that you can understand that, wait, should they even be able to force me to do that in the first place? Right?
So since he's working overtime, he makes more money. We want him to pay more money for child support because of that. So now he's going to have to keep working those hours to pay the child support that he needs to pay because he's working overtime. It's a circular argument. And it's like, now I have to work overtime. It's a choice that I made before so I could break even every month because I was paying alimony and child support, a very high dollar amount. Now, assuming he's going to have custody of one and the offset is maybe a couple, $300. If I'm not paying $1,200 anymore, I can spend time with my family and my girls and I don't have to work weekends. But Miss Moore doesn't.
Is that his position?
Yes, Judge, that's one of the reasons. And plus, it was an elective job, Judge.
No, what I'm asking is generally, if you're telling me that if he did not pay this child support amount number, he would not work that job. Is that what you're saying?
And he's already made that choice, Judge. He left them a couple of weeks ago or more. Because he's making $16 an hour working as a clerk selling tobacco products, Judge. That wasn't a lifetime goal. But Miss Moore wants him to say, well, you made that money. Now I want you to pay child support based on that money.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, because you made a choice.
The second job is the overtime job when
Yeah.
she quit. And your position is that he shouldn't be held to that second job, because that was something that he just was doing, electing to do, not something.
And listen, when I listen to this judge, I refuse to believe this. This is a college-educated woman. Excuse me. This is a college-educated woman. She knows what this man is talking about the entire time. Because the first time I listened to this, I don't care what that paperwork says. I don't care what she's trying to pretend like she thought this was all about. She knows where he's going with all this because it's common sense. It's common sense. It's common damn sense. She knows what he's getting at, because you would have gotten what he's getting at if I didn't tell you from the jump. It's very clear the point. He's not making it very well, but it's still very clear that what he's trying to say is he shouldn't have to pay child support based off of his second job. That is ludicrous. It's ludicrous. These laws need to change. These laws are so screwed up.
That he
And he didn't really have a choice, Judge. With the amount of money he was paying, he couldn't break even. He's living at a house with his cousin who's barely able to pay any rent. And he doesn't have a place to live in like Miss Moore does, his own house. And his daughter's got a place. I mean, they have a nice family there, and he's comfortable. But the point is, it was a choice. And if Miss Moore is...
Hold on, 1 second.
Yeah. So, Judge,
She don't care, bro.
The evidence is going to show that for reasons that were pretty much just out of necessity, sheer necessity, Mr. Moore made a choice of working a part-time job. Miss Moore, on the flip side, Judge, she says she needs money or whatever her situation is, but she also has a choice. And I guess her choice is not to work a part-time job. But so she wants the court to base child support on forcing Mr. Moore to continue to work 20, 25 hours a week at a part-time job so that he can pay a higher dollar amount to her for child support. That if he didn't work that job, that money wouldn't be included.
And there you go. He finally spit it out, like, clearly. You know, like that's his guy's lawyer. I'm like, dude, you should. I mean, could have said that a long time ago. But I think we still all knew where he was going with that. Okay, but at the same time, it's just stupid that he has to make this argument in the first place. It's absolutely dumb that he has to make this case in the first place.
He's got a full-time, respectable job at the Department of Labor. He makes $6,500+ a month, more than she makes. I think her income was somewhere around the $3,700, $3,800. We'll look at the child support worksheets in a minute. So, Judge, to us, it's kind of astounding that we're here on this issue today. When people have to pay child support and alimony, sometimes they have to take extra steps to support their family and to pay their own bills. And so now she says, well, because you've done it historically, I want you to keep paying that dollar money so that when we're both paying each other child support, your dollar amount is more than you have to pay me more for.
That's the other thing too, is so like take alimony, for instance. When alimony had been set up to where if the mother had got remarried, then the alimony stops, right? So they're focused, they're tying it in to whether the mother gets remarried or not. But on the flip side of that coin, they're making child support enforced. I don't know what the hell I'm drawing a blank. Not enforcement. What the hell am I trying to say? Child support rulings. Damn, they're making child support rulings so egregious that the guy can't even function on his own. So he almost needs a roommate at this point. And I can tell you this from my own experience and people that I know talk about this, it forces men to serial date looking for help because they can't do it by themselves. Nobody should be put in that position. right? I mean, the child support will be so egregious that guys will literally be looking, like, will be dating, like, with this sense of urgency, because for the wrong reasons, simply because they can't function on their own and live like a normal human being. Guys living in cars and all kind of stuff because of this, but not even eating themselves. I'm telling you, I've been through it, but they don't sit there and say, hey, well, you know, this guy has to take care of himself too. This guy has to, I'm telling you, when I say egregious, I mean it. I mean, it is appalling I'm talking like over half your check sometimes when you're taking out the Social Security. I remember my son's mom said to me, well, it's only this amount of money a year. I said, this is what I mean about you have no idea what this is like. You're not qualified to speak on this. You've never seen what happens to my paycheck after everything is taken out. And you don't care, and neither do they. They don't care. They don't know. They don't care. And I can tell you, I have seen this multiple times when a man does get in a relationship with another woman, and they've never seen it from the perspective of the person who pays child support, because not too many people do, except the person who's paying. But I've watched women get in a relationship with a guy who's paying it. Even women who have collected it themselves, they get it, and the guy's trying to tell them why he's broke all the time, why he can't do anything for her, and they think he's lying. So they say, show me, go get your child support papers. I want to see that. There's no way, like, you're exaggerating. He say, lady, I'm not exaggerating. So he gets his child support papers. He brings it to, you know how women, they like to dig deep into stuff anyway. And, you know, oh, what's going on here? They love getting into people's business like this anyway. So they're good at it. So then what happens is the woman who starts looking this stuff over, and she goes, and then it clicks. Oh, this is effed up. And then they start taking it seriously. Then they start understanding. Then they start speaking for men like, this child support system was screwed up. Once they see it on the inside, how much is taken away from their family. Once they see these amounts, how egregious and how then women start to go, oh, okay, now I see what you're talking about. Now I understand. I didn't get it before when my baby daddy was paying me, because I was just getting money and it was only this amount. I didn't know I didn't know the system was taking this amount and blah, 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 blah. And that your checks would look like this. I didn't know that. Well, I'm telling you now, you know.
Skylar, based on you working more hours, I would challenge Ms. Moore to say, then why aren't you working 25 hours? You can take your free time, and when you get home from work and spend time with your family, you do what you want. But you're asking this court to tell Mr. Moore, you don't have a choice now, because unless you work that part-time job, you're not going to be able to afford the child support. And that's why we're here today.
Speaking of which, I don't know why it just popped in my head. My best friend, he's booed up now. I'm not going to name drop Brandon. Anyway, he's booed up now, and so he's got 2 boys with a previous woman name. I'm definitely not going to name drop her. But anyway, he's been all like, you know, and they got married on Valentine's Day. Congrats to my homeboy. I love that. Anyway, but we hadn't spoken in a while because he's been pretty much focused on her, which is, it's all good, baby. It's all good. But he just told me they got married and everything. But then right before that, he mentioned something. I've been asking how everything's been going because we haven't been talking as much as we used to. And he told me, he's like, yeah, I almost said the name. He said, yeah, such and such is taking me back to court for more money because, and it's insane. They have 50-50 custody also. That's the funny part about it. Just like I have with my sons. But now that he's gotten married and he's doing all this, you know, good for himself, and he's making moves and he's like beating his system. He's found a way to you know, he makes good money, but he's, you know, now he's got a partner, and then he's also has like, he played it smart and you know, lived with his mom and just saved. He did what he had to do, but like, man, I can't get rid of this cough. I'm sorry, y'all. Damn. All right, but the point I'm making is that we all know that she caught wind of him being happy, and now she's taking him to court to raise his child support, and his kids are like, it's sad, really. It's sad. It's sad that she can even do that. It's sad. The system this is so wrong. It's so wrong. And when he told me that, I was just disgusted because I know both of them, and I'm just like, dude, this is disgusting.
Judge,
Okay.
I'm a little, it just doesn't seem to me it's that hard.
Okay. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may,
You
just
may.
a brief opening,
Yes.
just to address how we got here briefly
Okay.
because Mr. Campbell
Yeah,
brought
damn
that
mute
up.
button for this
My
call.
client, the parties were divorced in 2021. My client has had custody of the two girls. My client's home is a bit more structured. And there was an incident that while the parties were visiting or having parenting time with their father, where the oldest daughter ran away. Mr. Moore called Miss Moore and said, "Hey, she's missing." My client went over there to find her daughter. When she got there, she finally found the daughter and she slapped her daughter. Mr. Moore waited 2 weeks to call the police, and a warrant was taken out because it was on video. Waited 2 weeks to call the police. A warrant was taken out for my client. She was arrested, and there was a bond condition that said that she initially was no contact, and then it went to no violent contact.
I think it's so crazy that I can understand like some kind of criminal case or something like that, but I think it's so crazy that like there's nothing these lawyers are doing or saying except submitting all this bogus paperwork that really is unnecessary. We could talk like adults, man. They get in these courtrooms, they want to act like they're, you know, Walt Whitman or freaking William Shakespeare or something like that. They just want to, you know, flash their little fancy degrees around. But in reality, there's nothing these lawyers are saying or doing. And I'm just watching these two people who are just sitting here saying nothing. Like, I think that's sad and pathetic that that's what this legal system has come to. Like, this man can't even speak for himself because they got people convinced that, well, you don't want to speak because you can say something that can incriminate yourself or lose your case, or you don't know the right paperwork to submit and blah, 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 and you can blow your case. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't even be like that. This whole thing is just screwed up to me. You got these people just sitting there like, I mean, honestly, what the hell do they even need to be there for? I mean, literally, what the hell do they even need to be there for? You can just give the lawyers the paperwork, and they don't even need to be there the way the court systems operate today. That is absurd to me. I mean, they ask you little basic questions that they already should know. They should already know, but it's like I don't know why it bothers me so much to just see the two parents just sitting there saying nothing. I don't know if they've spoken at all. Now that I think about it, it's crazy.
So the oldest daughter does enjoy living with her father because she has more freedom. And however, the charges that were brought against Miss Moore by Mr. Moore have now been dismissed. That's what Mr. Campbell was talking about. But Your Honor, just to kind of get to the parties, and there was also a contempt. Mr. Moore was in contempt. We've resolved that issue regarding the contempt. It's part of the final order. So child support, Mr. Campbell is correct. It should be just easy. You plug in numbers. When the parties divorced in 2021, Mr. Moore's income was $7,574.53.
Sorry, how much was it?
$7,574.53 is the amount that was entered in the child support worksheet that was submitted in the divorce. At that time, that was his income. Mr. Moore is now saying that he got a part-time job. So we did discovery, and I just took the numbers that he provided as to his income. The same with my client, took the numbers that she provided as her income, and it was entered into the worksheet. Mr. Moore's income as of January of 2024 was $8,134 a month. That's
How
the
much?
number. $8,134 a month. And I just took what his attorney provided me and I entered that into the worksheet. I did the same with my client and entered it into the worksheet. And I said, hey, let's just take the difference. However, as of January 4th, Mr. Moore apparently has quit the part-time job to make his income less. Interesting enough, his income is now less than what he even made during the divorce. He wants the court to believe now that he only makes $6,500 a month, when during the divorce he made $7,500.
Extortion, blackmail, don't matter. Doesn't matter. You shouldn't be allowed to force him to pay more than somebody else in the first place. Child support should be a set number, if I'm going to even go along with the fact that it should exist in the first place. That's another video. Okay. But because this thing's already running it's been a minute. So, but I'm going to cut it down some a little bit if I can, but it's extortion. That's how, like I said in another video, that's how you end up with a program that wasn't even meant to be an entitlement program in the first place. It was only meant for needy families. That's how you end up with this situation. Just extorting money out of people. For what? Kids don't need a damn thing. That's how you end up with in a program that was meant for mothers who would fall into poverty without it. That's how you end up with people who are, make $100,000 a year each in this system. That's how you end up with millionaires in this system. I think there's even billionaires in this system. It makes no sense. Makes no damn sense whatsoever. These kids don't need it. It's about spite. That's all it is. And I say it all the time. I say, look, Mom, if you got that big of a problem or an issue, I tell you what, let the kids live with me. Nobody pay anybody anything. And you can see your kids whenever you want. As long as you just let me know. You can stay the whole week. You can pick them up, take them to school, however you want to do. I don't care. Just leave my money alone. Right? And you know what the answer always is? Shut up. Shut the hell up. You see, the reason why women won't go for that, let the children live with the father, nobody pay anybody anything, you can see your kids whenever you want, because if they do that, they know what's going to happen. You see, they will no longer be able to get away with their government-sanctioned extortion scam. And that's exactly what it is. It's a government-sanctioned extortion program. Literally, that's what it is. And that's why women wouldn't go for that. They say, well, but then I wouldn't be able to get paid to raise my own kids. Meanwhile, they're going to be up here calling you a deadbeat just because you got to go to work. Just because you have to go to work. And just because they're being a totalitarian dictator with the kids. And now you're the deadbeat. Well, if I'm such a deadbeat, and there's many other fathers feel the same way, then let the kids come to live with me then. Nobody pay anybody anything. You can see your damn kids whenever you want to, since I'm such a deadbeat. But like I said, they're never going to go along with it, because then they can't get away with their little government sanctioned extortion, scam.
$74. And as Mr. Campbell said, his income has not changed. So it's interesting to me that now he wants the court to believe that he makes less than what he made during the divorce. But Your Honor, this should be easy. It's just plugging in numbers. And it's not that Ms. Moore wants to use 25 hours. We just use what they submitted as their income. And we're asking the court to follow that.
And there's no way you can take any of these people seriously, because each one of these people talking, even the guy that works, even the lawyer, even the man's lawyer, they all have a vested interest in this. They don't care about the kid. They're not going to think about these kids at all once these two people leave this courtroom. They don't care. It's off to their golf outing or whatever the hell they got going on. We're just paychecks to these people. I wish women could understand that. These lawyers they're making a profit off of all these kids coming in this system, and they're using women as the guinea pig, not the guinea pig. So basically, they're just parasites. You know, you got So you got like there's a particular, what's it called? I can't remember the name, but there's a parasite that dies off when the host dies. That would be the women, right? Once the man dies, they get old enough, they can only have so many kids. But once the breadwinner dies off, that's done. And the kid gets 18, that's done. But the court system is like the kind of parasite. It's called, I can't think of the name. What it's called. They're the parasite that attaches itself to a new host and a new host and a new host. They're a host. They just keep on, and they just keep finding a new host and just keep spreading it. I'll just cling on here and just get what that's even worse. That's even worse, man. It's a bunch of damn parasites, and I can't stand it. I literally can't stand it. When you're this child support system, and it's like, as a man who's been through this, and it's almost like you just want to be like, it's like women are like, it's like these people that are receiving child support are like little cockroaches. It's like, get off me. We're not together anymore. What's so hard about that? Like, get the fuck off of me. You take care of your household, I'll take care of mine. Give me my child when I want to see my child, and let's move the hell on. I don't owe you any damn thing. I don't even know my parents anything, and they raised me. Okay? If I don't owe my parents anything for raising me, who have done 50 to 100 times more than you, I damn sure don't owe you nothing. All right? So I don't need to pay your rent. I don't need to pay your car payment. I don't need to make sure that the kids have the same lifestyle when they're at your house as they're at my house. That's your responsibility, not mine. Your responsibility is to make sure you're letting me see my damn children when I want to see my kids. That's your responsibility.
The more can't say, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit the job because I don't want to pay child support. And even in the response from his employer, the evidence will show his employer says, oh, you can come back anytime. And we believe that after this case is finalized, he's just going to go back. This is a job that he's had for over 5 years. I'm actually the part-time job that he has working at the cigar shop.
The part-time job he had before the original 2021 matter?
Yeah. Yes, he's had this job for years.
Yeah, there's no more. We don't really need to go any further, Mr. Campbell. It'll be a waste of time. If he had that job before the 2021 case, and that was the figure, and now he quits it, that there's no need to go through that.
Well, Your Honor,
I don't see how he can have a need if he had it since 2020. If he had that same job 5 years before this 2021 case.
And you think this is the part that I wanted to get to. This is the whole reason why I'm playing this thing. You think that the judge is going to say, and I know I said this earlier in the video, but you think the judge is going to be like, yeah, you guys are right, man. One job, he's fulfilling his obligations to his children. We can't force him to work too. That's what you think is going to happen. This is to show you how corrupt the system is. Listen to this judge.
Yeah, but Judge, Mr. Moore, wait, you'll get a chance. Judge, I wasn't the attorney when he got divorced. There's probably all kinds of reasons why when the family's together, he's trying to make more money. Okay? I mean, here's a guy he's making $19 an hour. He's working 65 hours a week. And then he might have been able to quit that job years ago, but then he was ordered to pay alimony and child support of $1,200 a month and $600 plus a month in alimony. Judge, he only nets $2,000 a month. So if he doesn't work a part-time job, he's not going to get by. And his paycheck, and the reason counsel's, this is disingenuous, Judge, to say, oh, let's just plug in the numbers. We've been going back and forth on child support for months saying, we don't want to include his part-time job. It's not.
And then they act like men aren't allowed to save money for their retirement and things like this too. I know so many cases where the kids turn 18 years old and then the mother's house is 2/3 of the way paid off and the man's starting all over again. That's bullcrap. That's bullcrap. And then, like I said, no man wants to be put, no person wants to be put on a how to take care of my own kids payment plan. Okay? Because, like I said, for one, it doesn't allow you to save and take care of yourself. There's so many things that you are lacking, and when they're doing this to you, such as like you need brakes on your car. Well, you can't even say, you know what, the kids have everything they need. They don't need anything right now. So I'm going to take this money and put brakes on my car. As a man, as a person who's paying, you lose the ability to manage your money and prioritize. Sometimes the kids don't need any damn thing. They don't need any damn thing. Which is more important? Throwing money at the mother so she can do whatever with it, or making sure that my tires aren't bald on my car, so that then next time I'm taking my kids somewhere when it's raining, we don't have a damn accident somewhere. Because you got one party, essentially, especially in cases like mine, when you have 50-50 custody, your children live with you half the time, you're going to sit there and have that person have to take care of their household and then turn right back around and have to take care of another whole household?
Fair. There's nothing inherently fair about saying that a guy should work 65 hours a week to her 40. Just because he's historically done it, he's going to be obligated to that for 9 more years.
Okay. I'll let you present it. I just know that there's case law on that. If you got a history of those part-time jobs, then that's what you use. I don't know how. My concern is that this is just it becomes a legal argument rather than factual if he's had the job for 20.
They don't care about right and wrong. She knows it's wrong. Well, actually, I don't know about this lady. She seems like she doesn't have any morality. But some of the judges, I get a sense. I get a real sense that they understand what they're doing is wrong. They just have to. I don't get that sense with this lady. I get the sense from this lady. She just doesn't care. We just got to get that money, pal.
If he had the job for 5 years and then just decided in the middle of the modification to quit it, it would be one thing to me if he quit the job because he was tired of working, whatever, and then asked for a child support decrease because of the fact that, he's no longer interested in working his part-time job, but he had it before the 2021 divorce.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when he had it. That's like slavery. You're forcing it doesn't matter when he had it. It doesn't matter when he's burned out from doing it. It doesn't matter. It's completely irrelevant. The fact is, you shouldn't have the authority to force this upon somebody. It's like modern day slavery. It's literally like modern day slavery.
And Judge, now he's got custody of the oldest.
And I was going to use that number to offset the number.
Right. And I know, but Judge, we get that part.
But I might be wrong.
Judge, we get that part. So he's got the older child. His alimony will be gone in 10 months. And some of the reasons why, with the offset, he's not going to have this huge amount of money anymore. And he's like, why? Basically, we're sending a message to Mr. Moore that when you work harder to try to get by, and he's working harder because he's paying his family's bills. his alimony and his child support. So once he goes to work and pays those, he needs some money to pay his own bills. So he's not behind in child support. He's not behind in alimony because he's been working hard for 5 years just to keep his head above water, living with family members. He doesn't even have his own home. So now we're going to say, Mr. Moore, you work a lot harder than Mrs. Moore does, but you're going to be held to a higher standard for the next 9 years because you've worked hard. You work more hours because you had to support your family. So because you work harder, you're going to keep working harder and paying more money because you tried.
And then eventually, when they ultimately changed the law, since they operated with impunity, and you can't sue anybody half the time for any of these things, they changed the law. And in my opinion, it ends up being like an omission of guilt. You're admitting the way you were doing things was not okay, and nobody has to pay for it. And so you have to sit in these courtrooms and listen to these pompous lawyers and judges sit there and chastise you and tell you this is what you need to be doing to take care of your child. Essentially, I mean, really, what they're saying, they basically might as well look at this guy and say, who do you think you are telling us how to raise your child? That's basically what they might as well say. And the craziest part about all this is that America is supposed to be the free country. Like, you would think this is like communist China. Like, this is supposed to be what? Land of the free, home of the brave. You would think if there was a country in the world where they couldn't do this to a person, it would be this one. That's what you would think. But instead, you go in this courtroom and basically, I mean, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, I mean, but like, essentially what they're saying is, who do you think you are telling us how to raise your child? That's basically what they're saying.
So now that you've been able to work 65 hours, that's the choice that you had to work those hours to get ahead. You don't have the choice anymore. Now you have to do it or you're not going to be able to afford to live.
Okay. All right. Continue.
All right. So Judge, if that's it, I'll call
I'm going to let Ms. Foster finish, and then we'll start with the testimony.
That's it, Your Honor. We believe that we just want to plug in the numbers. We use the numbers that he provided with his part-time job that he had even while they were married. And that's it. My client is asking for attorney's fees as well.
Now we know
for
that
having to argue this child support.
And then they want him to pay her lawyer fees. This video is long enough. I ain't got time to get into that. We'll get into that. We'll get into that on another one. And then you're gonna have the nerve after all this to sit and ask someone to pay your damn lawyer fees. After all this, man, if you can help it, never get involved in these court systems. Stay the hell away. They ain't for nobody but the people that are doing wrong. They're not for people that are, oh my goodness.
And Your Honor, that's it.
And Your Honor, we're also seeking child support for the entire case. This case has gone on for 2 years, and the child's election was evident. And Judge, I didn't get into that because we released.
You said you're seeking what now?
We've also filed a petition for attorney fees for both the modification of custody and child support.
I didn't realize there's a whole other person on the bottom of this Zoom call. I don't know who the hell is that. Where the hell did they come from? I don't know who that is. I was trying to break it down. There's a whole person. That person wasn't there before. I don't know who the hell that is on the bottom. I didn't even know that person was talking. Who the hell is that?
I didn't get into the issue of the custody because we released Miss Wright. But Judge, this case was much more than a slap. There's a video. She punched her daughter in the face, and the daughter wanted to live with him. So it took 2 years to get an agreement that and a guardian, tons of expense to tell this older girl what she could and couldn't do. It was very evident right from the beginning she wanted to live with her father. But 2 years later, we finally get an order.
Okay. So we can deal with the child support later. I had another matter that I have to take care of. They're coming in on Zoom with this child support issue. I plugged it in for about a 30-minute or so hearing. But based on the fact that you're telling me, because I thought it was a simpler issue. I thought it was one that the court would decide. I thought it was simpler, but it looks like we're going to have to get historical information, which means testimony is going to be long because.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. We'll just kick the can down the road to another time, and yeah. Meanwhile, here's some more lawyer fees, here's some more court calls for you to worry about and whatnot. So, yeah, and then let me see if that's not enough. Oops. If that's
What you're considering is overtime.
Well, support is based on income from which support could be paid. It doesn't differentiate or say that.
Well, tell him to quit working overtime. I mean, he's working overtime so he can afford something. Overtime is optional. If he wants to spend his time working instead of sitting in the bar spending money, why should, that matter?
I'm just saying that the support formula doesn't exclude specifically overtime pay.
I understand.
All income from which support could be paid, all available income to both parties. And
so you want him working, because he literally almost, what you're considering is overtime.
So, okay. And so I'm getting to end this video here, but I wanted to say one last thing here in closing here about the whole why I'm playing these videos. I'm playing these videos so that you can get some insight, because people are always like, well, it's not unconstitutional. It's not this, it's not that. But I don't think anybody could watch that and think that that's fair. In either case, right? And this is like two of like a gazillion people are like, dude, what? Like, what? Like, what? And I'm just so sick of it, man. I'm sick of this nonsense, man. It's insanity. But anyway, man, I know this was a longer video. I hope you made it to the end. Like, comment, and subscribe to the video. Share the video with somebody, man. Like, let's get this stuff out there so people can just see just like what's happening here. Like, just how screwed up this stuff is. It's such a hopeless and helpless feeling to be in these courtrooms, for them to be jacking you around like this, and you work so hard and you love your children and you want to be a good father or mother or whatever, and they're just jerking you around. And you listen to, and when I was in my court case just recently, man, I'm telling you, like, I'm watching their mannerisms and the way they speak and the way they're just like how monotone they are, and how much I can tell they don't care about right or wrong. They don't care who's getting screwed, as long as they're maximizing the amount of child support that they can get. And this goes for the district whatevers and the CE, the CSEA or whatever, the Child Support Enforcement Agency, and the judges and the lawyers. None of them give a damn. Oh, and I remember I'm gonna say one last thing, and I remember too, like, even the lawyers of the defendant or whatever, like, same thing. It's like they only half care, right? Because if they could make this to where good fathers didn't have to pay child support, they wouldn't even have a job. This is what I mean. It's like, how can you trust this system when people are profiting off of people's misery? You can't. It's so screwed up, man. Anyway, that's all I got today. Like I said, please comment, please subscribe, please like the video, please share the video, man. I've said it not a million times, but I've said it over and over again, man. This YouTube algorithm is ferocious, man. Brother need help. Help a brother out. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. I hope you liked the video. Bye-bye.